Little by little, bit by bit, I'm getting to the heart of it. Little by little, love is guiding me home. Welcome, everyone. This is Small Steps, Big Life. My name is Nathan Aswell, and I'm delighted to be spending a half an hour with my dear friend DevaVani, and we are here in San Diego. I was going to say San Francisco, that's not right. San Diego at the Universal Spirit Center, where you are the musical director.
Yes.
And how long have you been the musical
I have
director?
been here as a musical director for 14 years.
Wow.
Really since the beginning of this spiritual center.
Wow. Huh.
I came on board shortly after everybody got started.
Excellent. And I was thinking this afternoon, when did you and I meet? Was it 2010 at Asilomar? 2010, 2011, something like that?
Yeah, I think so. 2010, I believe. Because my mom had just, anyway, I think 2010 is when my mom passed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was after that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anyway, I had the great pleasure of making music with DevaVani as part of the music team at Asilomar for the annual conference for Centers for Spiritual Living. They're no longer doing it at Asilomar, that wonderful place in California, but we got to do it. I got to do it for 2 years, and the first year you were there with me. I remember
That was really fun.
the lovely walks we went for on that beach.
Yeah.
So tell people a little bit about who you are outside of, or as well as what goes on here. You've been musical director here for 14 years.
I have been singing all my life, and I started serving here at this Universal Spirit Center as music director about 14 years ago, when they were looking for someone to book artists.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually going to ask the woman who has been playing the piano. And we were at the time in a choir rehearsal, and my husband at the time was the choir director, and this woman was playing the piano, and the minister and his co-founding minister came in to the choir rehearsal, and they were going to talk to Carol, our piano player, and ask her if she would take on the position of music director. But as they were talking, I was standing there with them, and I said, well, gosh, I can do that. That's how I got the job. Hey, what about me? I could do that.
Good. Well, I'm glad you did. Glad
Yeah.
you spoke up. So, just before we started, I was thinking about one of the ways that I know you, and the reason why I'm actually here with you physically at the center on this particular day. You and I are going to be sharing an evening of chanting in a few hours, and I know that chanting has been something that you've entered into quite deeply. So I was just wondering if we could kind of take a look at the small steps that went into that. Like when did chanting first call to you, or just touch your heart, or whatever words most resonate with you?
I've always been really curious about chanting. Chanting seemed to me to be the most natural way of singing. It's something that small children do actually when they're playing or they're doing an activity and they make up little melodies. And chanting for me is a form of a meditation, but it's also a practice of deepening in my connection to the divine. And so I've just been drawn by chanting for the last 5 or 6 years. And I've been working with a teacher, Sylvia Nakash, and studying in a course called the Yoga of the Voice, which actually took me to India last January to work with teachers there. So it's been a beautiful journey. I have to say also that when I began listening to devotional singers like Deva Premal and Sanatam Kaur, I was so opened by their music, by their voices, by the way that they present their chants in Sanskrit, that I could just feel like there's something here that is so beautiful and so heart-opening and so connecting and relaxing for me that it just really takes me out of time and space and connects me to the source, my source, the source of all. And I wanted to know more about that. I was singing along with David Premal and really loving the Sanskrit, and so much so that I just learned a lot of Sanskrit chants, and I'm amazed at myself that I don't forget the lyrics because it's in a language that I don't truly understand. But I never forget the lyrics because there's something there.
So when you were talking about 5 or 6 years ago, is that what happened 5 or 6 years ago? You were somewhere and you heard a chant and went, "That's beautiful. I have to do that. I have to know more about that. I have to."
Well, I need to back up a little further
Okay.
because I'm a great fan of Michael Stillwater.
Uh-huh.
And for the last 10 or more years, Michael has been coming in and out of San Diego, and we would have him here at the Universal Spirit Center for, he would do something called Chant Wave. And he's just so much fun to sing with, and to all of the chants that Michael's created, the layered chants and the different parts that come in and out. And as a singer, I was just delighted. I love things that harmonize and melodies that are surprising and unpredictable, but still easy to access. So I guess I got started with Michael Stillwater.
Cool. So the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm wanting to lead people that are watching, kind of seeing it as a series of small steps that you made, and at the outset it may look like, wow, she's done this thing, and I wouldn't know where to begin. So that's why I'm asking you, so we can actually take them through to kind of see a little bit more clearly what your path was. So Michael Stillwater opened the door.
And he opened the door. I also need to include the fact that I was a music teacher for elementary school students. And I was trained in a method called Orff Schulwerk. And so in Orff Schulwerk, there's always the repetitive melodies, the music games, the phrases that build upon themselves, ostinato, that the kids would learn to sing and play. And so that's why I say that it's so natural to compose and perform chant, because it's just, I think it's in our DNA.
But I love that when you were doing that, when you were that elementary school teacher, you didn't know that it would lead to Michael Stillwater, didn't know it would lead to, and yet it's clear now in looking back that some wonderful foundation was laid.
I've just basically been following a thread. And the thread began when I was very young, just in my love of singing. My mother played the piano. She was a piano teacher. Music was in our home all the time. And there was a lot of classical music and a lot of the musicals of the 50s and 60s that me and my sisters would sing. So it was just this love of singing. And that's where everything got started. Yeah.
Well, speaking of love of singing, we just happen to have one of your charts here, your chants here handy.
Yeah.
And I would love it if you would sing.
Yeah, this is a new one because I've been wanting to do more writing. So this is one that I wrote to bring to the spiritual center so that everyone could sing.
And you wrote this with?
I wrote this chant with Myron Stam. He's been playing guitar for me for many years, and we just have the same love of this style of singing.
Wonderful. And it's called Home.
This is called Home. Yeah. And I just want to say a couple words about this one. I think home is that place that lives inside of each of us. And there are times in our lives when we just long for home. Whether it's coming home to the self or whether it's having your own home, your place where you belong, and wherever that is. And one thing that I really had a strong realization of was that home is always available It's not something that's far away, even though it might feel that way. It's something that's available to each one of us in each moment. And it sort of reminds me of that movie, The Wizard of Oz, where all Dorothy had to do was click her heels 3 times. So this song, this chant about home is really, the lyrics are really pointing to the reality that home is always here and always available.
Beautiful.
And we just sometimes think that it's not.
Beautiful. I think I have the tempo right.
Love is calling me home. Love has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Love asks nothing more. Peace is calling me home. Peace has opened the door. Come inside and feel the light. Peace asks nothing more. Joy is calling me home. Joy has opened the door. Open the door. Come inside and feel the light. Joy asks nothing more. Joy asks nothing more. Thanks.
Gorgeous. My great pleasure.
Thank you.
You are listening to Small Steps, Big Life, and I am here in San Diego at the Universal Spirit Center with my good friend DevaVani, and that was one of her chants, Home, which was co-written with Myron
Stamp.
Stem.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure many people will be replaying that.
Yeah.
And so, that wonderful teaching job, elementary school, into Michael Stillwater, into an awareness of Sanskrit and Deva Pramal and I never know how to say that.
Sanatam.
Thank you. I never know how to pronounce
Sanatam
it.
Kaur.
So that led you into a love of Sanskrit, which led
Yes.
you to. Did you meet your teacher in India or?
No,
before here?
it's really interesting because every year at New Year's, usually in January, in the new year, I take myself out of my daily life and I like to go to the desert and spend time alone. And I was journaling during that time. Just, the whole year stretching out in front of you, there's something really special about that time, the turning of the year. And I was journaling that I really felt like there was a connection between yoga and singing. And at the time, I was beginning a yoga practice, and I was, obviously always involved in the music. And I just knew that there's this connection. And so I started journaling and writing, everything that was coming to me about what that connection might look like, what it might feel like, what it might sound like. And then I came back from that retreat, and I was speaking to a friend here at the center on a Sunday, and she said, "Oh gosh, I have to tell you about this amazing retreat that I went to with this woman called Sylvia Nakash. She does something called yoga of the voice." And I just went, huh? Because I had literally just journaled my heart out about something to do with yoga and singing. And then when she said that to me, I thought, well, if that's not divine, I don't know what is, that she's telling me this. All along, here I am thinking that I'm going to have to create this thing that does yoga with singing. And now I find out that someone has already created a body of work, and a very impressive body of work, and a certificate program called the Yoga of the Voice. So I signed up right away, and I've been working with Sylvia now for 3 years. And we just last January went to India for 3 weeks and worked with teachers there, and had this amazing journey, visiting southern India and then northern India at Varanasi, and working with a renowned teacher there in Varanasi. So that was just that's where I am today. But you know, I love your idea of small steps, big life, because as you said, we're designed to take small steps, and everything we do is actually a small step, no matter how big our vision might be.
Yeah.
So I can really see in talking to you that where I am today is just the point on the thread that I'm happen to be at. There's still more to go, because it continues to unfold and evolve for me personally. And then I look back along the thread that I've already traveled, and I see all these little steps with different people and doing different things with my life. It's just, and I realize in this moment how important it is to listen and to take that time to reflect and be quiet and just ask what's the next indicated step. So, thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. I wanted to ask you, when you started working with Sylvia, so that you've made 2 trips to India?
1.
Okay. And that trip was 2 weeks?
It was a 3-week long trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has your time with her been like around that trip? Like, do you meet with her weekly? Is it a one-on-one
She
situation?
works with students around the world, and she does a lot of work over Skype, online. She holds retreats regularly. She's based in San Francisco, actually near Oakland, in Emeryville. And she has a website called voxmundiproject.com.
Okay.
She's so how do I work with her? I work with her by going to her studio in Emeryville, and next week I travel to Santa Cruz to participate in the week-long summer retreat that she holds, and people from all over the world attend each summer. It's kind of like a gathering of the tribe. So they'll be singing and dancing and drumming and sound healing and chanting, and it's in this beautiful setting in the mountains of Santa Cruz in a Buddhist retreat center. So, yeah.
So as you're saying all that, I'm thinking like yet another layer, another step, another thread is your relationship with her and how much that has changed since you met 3 years ago. And you've shared all these experiences now, both musically and I'm sure personally.
Yeah.
Things happen when you travel.
Things happen when you travel. That's for sure. Yeah, so that's, I chose her to be my teacher because I felt that she had exactly the approach I was looking for. It's very organic, in the moment, and it draws upon her vast experience as a music therapist, as a singer, as a psychotherapist, and as someone who has studied the ragas and the Indian classical music for over 30 years. So she's just one of those magical beings on the planet that really meets people right where they are, and just says, she'll say to you, well, look over here, let's open this door and see what's there, and so you never really know what's going to happen, which is wonderful. and what you're going to discover inside of yourself and inside of the music.
Mhm.
Everybody gets what they need.
So what's next? What's coming with Sylvia? What's coming with the center? Just
Well,
what's the next step?
that's a great. My next step. I feel like my next step is um, to create, and I've been dreaming about this for a while, but to create a yoga of the voice community here in San Diego.
Mhm.
And I've started doing that by bringing Sylvia for a weekend last year, and then again we'll have her again this year at the end of August. But also by having chant nights here at the center, by you know having weekly meetups with people who want to develop their practice.
Yep.
And the one thing that I haven't done yet is to work with students myself. I've already had a few people ask about that, so I think that's in my future.
Yeah, sounds like the universe is nudging you a little bit in that direction.
I'm getting nudged.
Yeah, wonderful. So, what I wanted to ask you is if people wanted to learn more about Sylvia or if they wanted to get in touch with you, you mentioned her website. At the end of this video, I will post any links that you give me so that people who want to be connected to Sylvia or to you can do so. So is there a way that, well, would you welcome people to connect with you after watching this?
Of course.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so what would you like to leave? Your email address, a website?
Oh, and my email address, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay,
I don't have my own website right
Okay.
now.
all right,
The Universal Spirit Center has a website.
okay.
So
So if you're okay, mention your email address, and then as I said, I will
It's-
post it at the end too.
it's DevaVani, DevaVani 333 @gmail.com.
Okay. And tell people about your name. I think that's a lovely story, and I think it's so perfect. It fits even more with everything that you just shared.
I
It's such a
chose
big
this
piece.
name for myself because 4 years ago my life changed drastically, and I left a very long-term marriage, and I knew that and in that marriage my husband had given me a nickname that had really stuck with me and everybody knew me as. And I thought, when I'm leaving this marriage, I can't have this name anymore. So I was asking in my meditation, what is my name? What is my name? And just opening and letting it come in. And so one morning I got up early and did my meditation, and something was just tapping me on the shoulder to go to my computer. And I did, and I was, I felt like I needed to look up some Sanskrit words, because I was very present with the question of what is my name. And when I did that, I was looking through the Sanskrit words. I had found a website with a translation, and this one Sanskrit word just jumped out at me, and it was DevaVani, and I thought, oh, what does that mean? And I looked to the translation, and it meant divine voice. I thought, oh, well, there it is.
I just love that. I just love
there it
that.
is. It's right there.
Yeah.
So I've been growing into this name
Mhm.
for the last 4 years, but it is perfect for me.
So I wanted to say two things about that. One, thank you for sharing the name and the story behind the name. And second, congratulations for not telling people what your old name was. Yeah, so that you can more fully claim.
Yay! Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that didn't have a place in this discussion.
Yeah. I'm sure people, after hearing you sing the chant, would love to know more about you. And is there music that you have available that they can get from somewhere?
I do. I have 2 albums that are on cdbaby.com. One album is called Grace in My Pocket, and the other album is called, it's my newest one. Wow. I can see it.
It'll come back to you when you stop thinking about it. Are they both on CD Baby under DevaVani?
The newest one is under DevaVani.
Okay.
And the other one is under my old name, Val Cooper.
Right.
So that was Grace in My Pocket.
Right. Okay, well, it's okay. I'm certain that as soon as you stop thinking about it, it's going to pop back in your
But
consciousness.
that is the funniest thing.
Okay, so just the invitation is for people to go to CD Baby, put in DevaVani, one word, DevaVani. They will get your most recent CD. They'll be able to find you.
Yeah.
And if they really want the first one, they can email you and ask. Or something.
Uh-huh.
I just have one more question I could think of asking you, my friend, and that is, if there was one bit of encouragement that you would like to give people, one small step that you would encourage people to take, what would it be?
I would say that wherever you are is perfect. Wherever you are contains exactly what it is that you need for your next step. And that if you're wondering how to take your next step, just to pause and get quiet and ask yourself what it is that you love. That's really the only question that you should ever want to have an answer to.
Beautiful. Thank you. Let's go up with a little bit of that chant that I love to end with by Karen Drucker, our mutual friend. This is called Loving Kindness. It's very simple. It's basically Karen's musical adaptation of the Buddhist metta prayer. And the words are just, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. So whenever you feel comfortable, just join in. May I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. One more time. May I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. Last time. May I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. You have been watching Small Steps, Big Life. My name is Nathan Aswell, and it has been my extreme pleasure to just hang out with a very dear friend of mine here in San Diego, DevaVani, who is the musical director here at Universal Spirit Center. And we are about an hour and 15 minutes away from creating some sacred sound together with a couple of other people. And so that's why I'm here. And so I asked DevaVani if she'd be kind enough to join me and just talk a little bit about her journey for half an hour before we do that tonight. So thank you for joining us. I hope this has fed you. And as I said, I will include links to DevaVani's email address and to a couple of websites to connect to her, and also to Sylvia, her teacher. And the video will be up shortly on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste.